He bullied me for years, even after I left. It wasn't him so much, it was the thoughts of his threats and the memories of what he had done. That's the thing that would wake me up in the middle of the night, racking me with flashbacks and panic attacks. I tried drowning my sorrows for a while, but found out they were vodka-proof. So I had to find a way to face this head on. I was 14 when he first started raping me. I thought I should tell his wife, but man, how do you tell your big sister that her husband isn't who she thinks he is? And short of showing up at the breakfast table wearing a shirt that said, "My brother-in-law molested me and all I got was this lousy t-shirt," I had no clue how to start that conversation. So I stayed quiet, motivated by an exhausting blend of terror and shame and self-doubt. I thought it would end, but it didn't. And as the years went by, I began to wonder how I was ever going to get out of this prison that nobody even seemed to know I was in. Sure, there were times when I wanted to tell. There were times when I so desperately wanted help that I figured the alternative to silence, whatever it was, couldn't be as bad as this. But the day that he took me out to an open field and showed me where he'd bury me and told me exactly how I'd die, he made a very convincing argument for remaining silent. Suffer in silence or tell the truth and die. Seemed like a pretty clear-cut choice to me. I wanted to think if I ever did tell my sister that she'd believe me. She was 10 years older than I was, and I had idolized her from the day I was born. She knew I'd never make up something like this, and I'd never do anything like this to hurt her. But by the time I finally found the courage to tell her my secret, I guess she just had too much invested in that marriage. She had too much to lose, so it was easier for her just to lose me. And besides, nobody wants to think that's really happening in their family. Nobody wants to believe they got it that wrong. So that's when I packed up my bags and moved to Texas, where I could lose myself in more ways than one. It took a long time to figure out that I couldn't run from what I carried with me, and that the past could only hurt me if I continued to let it. By the time I figured that out, I had bottomed out so hard in so many different ways that it didn't seem there was a whole lot left to rebuild. You know, they say that life doesn't give you do-overs, and I was fine with that because I didn't want to do any of this over. So instead, I tried to do better. I stopped listening to the voices in my head, the ones that said I was worthless and that I deserved everything that had happened to me. I stopped cutting myself and started caring for myself. And one day, I woke up and I realized I wasn't scared anymore. And I wasn't bleeding inside. I had beat my bully. Today, the bully that bothers me isn't the one who tried terrorizing my soul. It's the hundreds of thousands of bullies out there who are walking around doing the exact same thing to little boys and little girls just like me. It's the bullies out there who are wearing the clothes of our coaches and our priests and our family and friends. The ones who take the voice of innocence and smother it with a cloak of shame. My bully lives next door to you, sits beside you in church, coaches Little League. He might be bullying you, or your son, or your brother, or your daughter, or your sister. And the only way that we're ever going to stop this bully is to take away the one thing that protects him: silence.